Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk about TAMASO Ma JYOTIR GAMAYA. This is one of the second statements of Maharishi Yajnavalkya from Brihad Upanishad. I respect this particular statement just like Asdosma Satgamya to this, that is untruth to the truth and talking of the universal truth which everybody should know. Then darkness to light is the second thing which is very scientific, spiritual in nature, and praying that God lead me from darkness to light, from inertia to dynamic light, and reveal everything in the universal consciousness is embedded in this particular statement. You can see the picture of light inside and darkness outside. How outside darkness becomes light inside and then outside, and how we get educated, enlightened, and empowered with the impeccable wisdom of the highest order is what I'm trying to understand in my own experience one by one thereafter. Aditi is my Antaratma, then Satya is my first truth. Leading darkness to light is the knowledge with which I have moved on. And this is a statement which I make it very, very clear that all the concepts of impeccable wisdom of Akhand Vidyashram are founded on my personal spiritual science experiences and integrated divine mathematics, which carries all the conviction of the universe as such. From within human body to the entire universe is designed with the same divine mathematics which I am talking about. And I also make it clear, I have not copied anything from any side other than what is designed by nature to be understood for impeccable wisdom. Anything which is confusing, I have tried to avoid. Let's do that. Let's start from the state of the creation before the creation, and that is what darkness is all about. Tamas. And from tamas is also represented as Atma, dot or zero or shunya. And that is the beginning. From the journey from before the creation, from shunya, which is Atma, the soul, the dot, zero, to DIVYANK in 2015 is what I find very interesting to unfold this secret step by step is what I am talking about. Now, the universal wisdom, as we see entire thing, there was creation before the universe is well accepted by almost every religion, every spiritual philosophical concept. There was darkness which got converted into light, Prakash Matra alone. This is one thing which is very, very clear. But do we understand, or do you understand or conquer the real meaning of this statement? There was darkness, became light, and everything got enlightened thereafter. I think that's an amazing statement, and I go by the fact this is a reality by it. Can we experience the dark within ourselves? And I say, untruth we think till we get educated, we are untruthful, we are dark, we are ignorant. And I do agree, when we take birth, unless until we learn concepts from zero, is emptiness, is a darkness, is a ignorance, is inertia, and then we start learning one by one. The people who learn the wisdom truthfully, honestly, without any doubt in their mind, have the capacity to differentiate between right and wrong. They are the one who will go to impeccable wisdom. Any copycat concept without reflecting on its applications will not make anyone enlightened. My entire life of 70 plus years is based on the truth. Maybe my Aditi, Antaratma, as the divinity by and large I was associated with, was guiding me towards perfection from the young days itself. For me to know the difference right and wrong was never perfect. Perfection was my thought, and I was led to the perfection with the help of Aditi or Kundalini or Antaratma or the darkness or tamas itself, and that is the reality. Can we experience brilliant light within ourselves? Is something which I have experienced. I am going to show it. Can we experience the light outside our body? Is also something which I have experienced. Now let us explore and find the brilliant light within and outside which can enlighten us truthfully, honestly, and with ahimsa and love for the entire creation is what this particular statement, three words, TAMASO MA JYOTIR GAMAYA, Shabdas, have taught me such a beautiful statement. We have to be enlightened. Now, these are statements by Maharishi Yajnavalkya, the greatest soul. I still again and again I say is the most important spiritual scientist of the world, in my opinion. True, because I found much more wisdom in his works that I found the wisdom in the works of others. I again make it clear. For me, a spiritual scientist is the one who leaves behind the legacy of impeccable wisdom for the world to be enlightened. So from that angle, one Maharishi who has taught me statements, something which made me understand wisdom completely. Hats off to Maharishi Yajnavalkya. Now, second prayer at this particular thing, TAMASO MA JYOTIR GAMAYA. Lead me from darkness to light is very clear. What do the darkness and light mean is something which is many people don't even know. But brilliant light emerges from darkness within and outside and everything, unless until you experience within your own body. Then only you realize the beauty of this statement. As I told you, I was ignorant. Now I am enlightened, educated, and empowered to talk of the light within and outside. And how did I experience this is something which I am going to show. Now, same statement in the 10th verse of Rig Veda also is written with a very third shlok. You can see tamas as such. I think that's word itself means. From there the light comes, provided when you work towards that. Darkness is start, but leads to light over a period through perfect education, enlightenment and empowerment only. So the Vidya becomes a very important component to lead from inertia of ignorance to the impeccable wisdom over stages, knowing all the 64 arts and sciences. Only then you get to understand Jyoti as such, that the brilliance which every religion is talking about, religion, this particular statement is also talking about. Now, as I told you, Atma, soul and inert matter, this is something which I realize. The ancient Indian Akhand Bharat says clearly, Atma cannot be burnt, cannot be cut, cannot be dissolved, cannot be destroyed. Atma is eternal, blissful, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, ever present to enlighten you, but it cannot be cut, differentiated or otherwise. That is ancient Indian Akhand Bharat Parampara as such. The scientific evidence to relate the same thing is that inert matter cannot react, cannot form compounds with other atoms, cannot be burnt, cannot be cut, cannot be dissolved, cannot be destroyed. That's the quality of only inert matter. Many of the spiritual people say the Atma is an energy, cannot be seen as a matter at all. I do not agree with that. I have seen the matter as a darkness and also as a light. How darkness is turned into light is also something which I am going to show. As I told you, it is my experience. Only then I can say the Atma is Aditi, Kundalini is made of helium-4 SR. Soul is made of inert matter. Indwelling human soul is Aditi. Soul of solar system and spiral galaxy is Gayatri with 10 arms. Then greatest universe is Adi Prashakti with 18 arms. And these are all we can experience that within the body itself. How do we experience these divinities of helium 4, that is 2, Gayatri with 10 arms, neon 21, and argon 40 as Adi Prashakti with 18 arms, and this is what is written, put in graphic presentation of periodic table itself. You are going to see that also, because my objective is to bring science and spiritual together and show they are two sides of the same coin. Unless they speak the same language, you cannot be a spiritual scientist. As simple as that. Most of the spiritual people say it is energy upstairs that is the truth. What is on earth is wrong. I do not agree with that. And scientists say what you see in the matter is reality. Energy does not this. But I do know matter and energy are the two concepts simultaneously, which Akhandavara has always talked about it. Gaseous form, Bhumi, is a matter. Water is a flowing form. Then Agni is a fire. Then Vayu, air. And then Akash, omniscient. These are 5 stages we all can experience. Once we experience them within the body, only then you will know that matter to energy, energy to matter is something which is happening within ourselves 24/7. We are like a chemistry laboratory of the perfect nature which can produce Amrit as well as poison. The one who produces Amrit is the one who is in tune with Antaratma, Aditi, or Kundalini, or Helium 4. The one who is going against the nature would have all the problems of deficiencies, difficulties, diseases, etc., etc., etc. So that is where I have experience and I am going to talk about. Now, I am making one statement again clearly, and this has been statement first 4 decades of my life. My concentration was only on divine mathematics, divine physics, divine chemistry, divine medical sciences, and knowing all the 64 things automatically with the help of Aditi itself, my inner consciousness, or I called it Mata Vaishno Devi, to see the perfection. I think that 40 years were very, very useful in me to understand the fundamentals of science as such perfectly. Had I not known A to Z of all the 64 sciences and art within the first 4 decades, I don't think I would have ever experienced Antaratma within me and talking to me what happened in the last 3 decades. Fortunately, I do believe everything predetermined because it is a reincarnation theory. We are born from the state of level which we had taken death in the last. Nothing is lost in the process. Everything is in the karma sharira, the causal body, and the seeds are there. And that seed will lead you towards the level you have left already. As a result, I would say all the knowledge of previous births of mine are there in my causal body of Antaratma, Aditi itself. And whenever I come to that stage, that comes up and gives me the knowledge of the highest ladder, Ant. Maybe that is it. For 40 years, I learnt everything as the unfolding of the causal body, Ad Kan Sharira, to come to brilliant academic exemplary profession life. I cannot find difficulty in anything in perfection, and I would say my academic records, my research records, my work records, professional record, even first 40 years is amazing. Hardly any parallel in the world you can see of that precision knowledge, and I am happy I followed Antaratma and have done, but I was unconscious of it. That's what point I make it. I thought I was getting it from Mata Vaishno Devi, but actually it is my Antaratma Aditi which was giving me, and that is it. But after 40 years of understanding fundamentals of all the 64 arts and sciences, maybe time had come for experience within the body so that I can move on to this, explain to the world the impeccable wisdom which I am talking about. It's for the first time in the history of mankind somebody has come to this level of talking impeccable wisdom as such. Maybe the time is ripe at this stage because we have fantastic equipments made by all the scientists of the world, maybe power spectrum analysis of EEG is one part. All the equipments are like that, or even computers, equipment, every instrument which is created is phenomenal. There is no doubt about it. But using equipments to perfection, you need a man who knows it. Artificial intelligence is a phenomenal work, but until the people put the idea into artificial intelligence to look for perfection of DIVYANK, it will not arise because it is fed with the idea of spreading the one which is seen more. That is the deficiency with artificial intelligence. That's the deficiency with ChatGPT. That's the deficiency with OpenAI. And all that, now whatever the people are talking about, you can make a PowerPoint presentation with Copilot and that will take you. But it's going to give you only deficient knowledge. You are only repeating what is written. You don't even apply. You are getting something which ChatGPT is giving, Copilot is giving, and you making a presentation, you are teaching the world the same rubbish which I am talking, what has been seen in the last 70 years by me in the world as such. But unless and we move to DIVYANK and show this is the perfect one, and with that new education start, new research start, new things come up, the world will have perfect thing for everyone around the world, and that is the education required, free from deficiencies, impeccable wisdom, the highest order, without any deficiency, and nobody can find fault with that. And once that is appreciated by artificial intelligence, which I'm sure is going to happen, because people are also becoming more and more aware of the truth, and we are no more boxed with any religion or any concept or otherwise. Whole world has become like a village. Now scientists are not anymore Americans or Europeans as such. You have scientists from all over the world, including India, China, North, South, East, West. Everybody is contributing. So now is uniformity to produce impeccable wisdom. Once the scientists are rising to that level, we are not bonded with any religion, we are not bonded with any country, we are not bonded with any, we are bonded only with the truth to the highest order. That is the day whole world will get impeccable wisdom. And that's it. Now this is statement. Now let me show you how I have moved from tamas, the darkness, to light step by step. Now the whole initiation was on 1st January 1991. I was initiated with simplified Kundalini Yoga by Maharishi Vetatri. I had gone there after my breakfast around 10:30. He made me sit in Padmasana, put his hand between my eyebrows, as you can see the red dot between the eyes, made me look at that dot, as you can see in my picture, and made me concentrate on that alone. I think that was the concept which changed the concept. Within 22 minutes, I experienced the movement of Kundalini in Manipura chakra, which is the upper abdomen as such, and then how it moved towards left, through the left vagus nerve to the spot, between this spot which is eyebrows, which is connected with brain stem. So movement through vagus nerve, left vagus nerve to this is very, very clear. I could experience the movement in that. I think that was first learning of ignorant, and I would say I did not see the light, but I could experience it. There was no light, experience was there. And that feeling of sensory component was very phenomenal. And let's leave it. Now, in the process, this I have shown how Manipura chakra is the upper abdomen, how it's going up to the and Ajna chakra as such. This was the experience, which was the first experience in January 1st, 1991. And they call it a Kundalini Yoga, a simplified Kundalini Yoga. And I think it was phenomenal experience of realizing the universal consciousness within me. When I experienced that as a Kundalini, I read all the books available for next 2 years on Kundalini chakras, nadis, and all the books. And I'm very sorry to say, all the books which I read, I felt they were wrong, and wrong only. And my personal experience was right because I experienced it. Nobody had experienced. They were talking of 7 chakras and they were saying dev parts, nothing. All the things were quote in quote, were not as perfect as I experienced. And I made it clear. 2 years, studied all the books available, and I felt time has come for me to go further to experience yogasanas, pranayam, meditation, and tratkam within myself, and then learn to experience how these things can be experienced within the body itself. That was the thing. After 2 years of reading everything about Kundalini, chakras, nadis, and other things, I was ignorant at that stage. First 40 years, not at all. Then this gave me the experience, but darkness. But I needed to experience that light within me, how this is manifested into TAMASO Ma JYOTIR GAMAYA. Then I went and 4 months program at the end of 92, where 1 month yogasanas, 1 month pranayam, 1 month ratkam, 1 month meditation were taught very well by Mahesh sir, who was a yoga expert, fantastic person, brilliant too in all the techniques of yogasana, pranayam, pratyahara, and right up to meditation by and large. But he had a system which we followed, and I'm glad that system was very good. But on the last day of 4 months, he made us sit in Padmasana, as you can see this picture, as if it is me. Then he said, view a light at Mooladhara Chakra, as you can see the red spot on that part. We viewed, then he said, now move into Swadhisthana Chakra, the light to Swadhisthana Chakra. I could feel that moving up because I had experience within that. Then move up to Nabhi Chakra, then move up to Anhata Chakra. And when by the time he said you move on to the 5th chakra, I suddenly got a jerk and found myself in the white bag of light, as you can see in this particular picture. And that was my first experience of darkness to light outside itself, and also experience inside not as light but darkness only. But manifestation was light outside first, not inside. Let me make one thing very, very clear. And that is also taught me what is shunya, what is dot, what is light, and what it originated from inside to this level. And these 5 things also make it very clear. Mooladhara was like a solid matter, Swadhisthana was water, Nabhi was like a fire, Anhata was Vayu, and Vishuddhi was energy. So energy, all the 5 stages experienced, and I think that was phenomenal. When I told this to gentleman, Maheshi, he said, please don't tell others, then people will think you are gone mad. That is very unfortunate part. The teachers who are teaching these things have no experience by themselves. When they don't have an experience, they think the people who are genuinely experiencing have gone mad, and unfortunately they put on drugs, are given to mental asylums, and done things that is very pathetic state of affairs. Maybe as a medical doctor, I've always been of the opinion psychiatrists are drugging people who are actually genius because their concept is not appreciated by others. Instead of understanding and making them understand the concept, you drug them, you kill them, and make them vegetable by and large. And I have hundreds and thousands of cases I've seen who could have been brilliant people but lost in the process under drugs of different nature, whether it's excitatory or inhibitory. By and large, I still go and say none of those things will help you to move on. You've got to find the cause and effect within yourself. Only then, thank God, I was a medical doctor, practicing doctor at that stage, and I was very successful. I did not need money, name, fame from anybody, and nobody could ask me to change my concept because I was not answerable to anybody. I think that confidence, that is the experience. It's not something this had no doubt whatsoever, but I felt these people don't know, let's forget about it. Now come to the next stage. By the time we came to 93, started learn whatever learned in 4 months of yogasana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, and samadhi, as well as other things. Plus, meantime, I learned pranic healing, Reiki, and all the other alternative systems like acupressure, acupuncture, everything. When I started learning everything, then I started experimenting with those within myself. I think that gave me the experience of Kundalini moving as a light within. When it rose from Muladhara chakra, like a thunder, violent, a view, full lights I could see, three nadis I could see, and moving right inside and up was an amazing experience. And when I expressed that amazing experience to my own friends and relatives, all of them thought that I am going crazy now. I think that's the worst thing could have ever happened. But since I was not bothered, I was only sharing my experience. I was not at all affected whether it's because I have experienced something which I never have experienced with anybody else. I think that made the difference to me. Move on. We are doing very well. That's the time when I got to meet my professor Namachwayam. We applied for register under PhD after these 3 years of experience, 91, 92, 93. And but unfortunately, registration came only in 95, but work 93 itself research started. I think that was amazing. When I went on moving by the end of December 93 or beginning of 94, Swami Sukhabodhananda had a program first in Chennai 4 days and 4 days near Bangalore in hill station. 4 days very intensive training on yogasanas, pranayama, meditation and phenomenal. I think of 4 days of program which I have shown you in this particular thing, I experienced all the beauty including Ajna chakras, seeing the light within me. I think that was again tamas becoming light in in Ajna chakra itself. And I could see light of everybody. In this particular picture, right up to the level, you can see the light around my body, very precise and concise. You don't see in others. But you can also see a light like a on top of my head, very clearly seen. Once I see that picture, I thought this is phenomenal. You have so much of energy that even a Canon AE1 is able to pick up that energy. That was another enlightening experience. And when I showed it to my friends and others, they really appreciated, yes, we can see. But how it is happening, it was beyond their comprehension and was beyond my comprehension also at the same time. Let us accept the fact. I was still ignorant about how the genesis takes place. That is 93, 94. But then there was first experience of what I learnt in school was yogasanas, Atlagani Patanjali. Right up to Ashtang Yoga, I had experienced it in those 4 months. But then Chakral Yoga I experienced later. But Akhand Yoga has a 10th part of Antar Yoga that I experienced in 95, beginning of 95, and it was a Purnima day. Maybe some Purnima in April, May as such. When I saw the light moving in from Muladhara chakra, breaking Brahma Granthi, getting into Brahma Nadi, and the rising up to ventricles of the brain was such a beautiful, enlightening experience of seeing tamas getting into brilliant light within the body, into centralmost part of the nervous system itself, moving from Muladhara chakra to Brahma Nadi through Brahma Granthi, and that is where I realized that wisdom given in original Sanskrit scriptures of Satchakra Nirupana is phenomenal, but not the description given by translation by others. People who gave commentaries on those books, they had no experience, so they gave all sorts of things which was confusing. But when I started learning Patanjali Yoga Sutra again in Sanskrit form, I found even dharana, dhyan and samadhi, samyam and descriptions which are given so beautifully in Patanjali Yoga Sutra in Sanskrit have never been translated by anybody. And that became the process for me for my PhD work as such. Maybe for the first time, unfortunately even today, only PhD research work on yoga is with eyes open and eyes closed. When eyes closed is one part, eyes open is another part, and I am saying where what is actually written in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is that only. It withdraws the senses, but keep the eyes open, keep the senses open, and be connected with senses, mind, buddhi, intuition, chetana, and to the kundalini. Only then you will reach samadhi stage, otherwise you will not reach. Otherwise you will have all the kleshas. I think that was enlightening, and that became a good process for me to start a new research with eyes open for 2 minutes, eyes closed for 2 minutes, and see the changes in my brain electrical activity, and then added power spectrum analysis after 1998. I think that was an enlightening thing. But in conventional EEG, in 95 I could see that I could produce alpha frequency after opening the eye. I think that was enlightening. That was the thing which everybody was surprised. How? We're going to see that. Then registration for 95 I came. By the time Government General Hospital EEG lab in neurology department, which was headed by a friend of mine, my classmate, Professor A.V. Srinivasan, was very useful. With the guidance of my professor, Namachwayam, and of course I also coming from Madras Medical College. So Madras Medical College, Madras University is my parent institutes. So we were like senior people having all the influence there. I think became very easier. But this is where I learnt electroencephalography with closed eyes and open eyes. I think that was phenomenal. Now I'm talking about the normal EEG the world knows. The neuroscientists of the world say 10.5 Hertz alpha frequency waves are seen in the posterior part of the brain. That means occipital region or visual cortex plus parietal. When the mind is at rest and eyes are closed, no alpha waves are seen in the rest of the brain. This is statement of the neuroscientists of the world for the 100 years. And thinking alpha waves are replaced by beta waves, which are faster ones, more than 12 frequency. After opening eyes, no alpha waves are seen. It is all by erratic beta waves. This is what is called alpha block or desynchronization of the knowledge of the neuroscientists of the world, which is taught in every book everywhere. This is where I realized that all the knowledge which neuroscientists of the world are giving is wrong, wrong, and wrong. Because I can produce alpha frequency so beautifully, effortlessly, and in a very natural way after opening the eyes. If I can do it, I'm sure it's a natural one. So someone who is in tune with universal culture. Now, this is a picture in 95 to 98 and right up to 2001, which stands out. Down is the one with a subject's other thing. They cannot produce alpha frequency after opening the eyes. The one with the closed eyes is identical. But in open eyes, I can produce predominant thing with open eyes in alpha frequency, particularly in samadhi state, when my concentration is on top of the head. Whereas in dhyana it's a down, and in dharana there is no concentration. The concentration on top of the head is one which I call samadhi, and the power in that is phenomenal, almost many times more than that, and I could produce, this is the proof which is a part of my PhD work as such. Phenomenally acknowledged, universal, and I'm very sorry to say nobody has been able to repeat that even today. But today, over a period, when I started doing power spectrum analysis, got into Chetnad University, started studying it more and more in depth. Now I can produce 8 Hertz frequency alpha in all the 64 art parts of the brain with eyes open, eyes closed, phenomenal by and large. As a matter of fact, with eyes closed is 8.5, with eyes open is 8. We are very close to what Akash Kosh, I talk about it, Schumann resonance field 7.83. I think that was close to a light inside and light outside. TAMASO Ma JYOTIR GAMAYA was beautifully exhibited with the scientific equipment never done in the history of mankind before. I think that was something which I say very enlightening, very educating, very empowering, has given me the power to move on to DIVYANK thereafter. Now, this is a statement of my professor Namachwan, my guide. He had known me for 4 decades. He said Shivbhushan Sharma is capable of starting any research from any concept, take to conclusion single-handedly by himself without any difficulty whatsoever. I think that credit he has given to me, and I admire a guide who says everything is done by a student. It is his call. He is exhibiting something which is unexpected but brilliant, acknowledged through it as a highly commendable, original otherwise. Thanks to him, giving me this testimonial that is single-handedly by me, and it is one which fetched me highly commended by the American scientists and all the physiologists of the world, my PhD work. I think thanks to that research gave me the conviction we are moving very well in the light of Tamso Ma Jyotir Gamaya. Now, that is the time and I felt I should ask the Mata Vaishnav how I can find alpha frequency with eyes open that nobody else is able to do. And I pray to Mata Vaishnavi, which is my guide, my guru, my everything. I still believe she is my Ishtavi and she'll always remain my Ishtavi because she is the one who taught me for first 40 years. And now coming to when I was doing this to her, I found something coming up. That is enlightening tamas to this. I heard a voice of silence from within, or the voice of Kundalini you call it, Antaratma you call it, or Aditi you call it. Welcome, you have come back home. You have been chosen for a divine plan. Yes, another enlightening, tamas to yoti. Listen to the voice of silence carefully. Follow the instruction faithfully and honestly. Everything will reveal to you at the right time. Fortunately, I trusted the voice. I asked for the first instruction. And the first instruction was to start a charitable trust, which I started on Vijayadashmi 95, October 3rd, designed it. And then I was asked to make a logo for trust of Akhand Foundation, which was the next one. And this was the logo which was formed. And I was told that this is the graphic presentation of Gayatri Mantra. I could not believe that I'm the first person making a graphic presentation of Gayatri Mantra for the first time in the history of mankind. But then I collected all the books on Gayatri and everything I found in this picture alone. I think that was phenomenal. Then I made a logo, greeting card and distributed to the people and got it registered as Gayatri in my name as such. Then over a period after my PhD, the first book which I explained, same logo is converted into this logo. Here you have 10 chakras by this time very clearly. By the time I realized that there are 10 chakras, not 7 chakras, they are connected with 10 endocrine glands and 10 ganglia of the autonomic nervous system, 10 major parts of the nervous system which are independent government by themselves. And same thing I found is in solar system and also in spiral galaxy and thereafter. Then I started seeing the consistency of spirituality and science with my personal experience. I think that was phenomenal unfolding. And I would say tamas leading to jyoti thereafter. Now come to the question of darkness, tamas before. Term before the creation is very clear. All the inert matter, whether it's helium-4, neon-21 or argon-40 or krypton or xenon, all are focused right in the center. Outside there is no force. When there is no force outside, everything is inside. There is light inside which is sleeping. Same thing, whether helium light or neon light or argon light is dark unless it is charged. I think that was a phenomenal thing and structure made it very clear. This is what it is all about. Then Brahman, the creation of spiral galaxy comes up. And I found this particular picture, Goddess Durga of neon 21 and spiral galaxy has 10 suns, which I said 10.3441 is right one. And it is neon 21, that means 10 electrons, 10 protons and 11 neutrons. 10 plus 10 plus 11 divided by 3 is equivalent to 10.34419 as such. Let's leave it at that. And that was a very enlightening thing by and large. And this picture of God, which I modified in 1997 with the 10 arms, with the 10 instruments, which are part of the picture which I had created. I think that was a phenomenal. And I also realized that neon 21 actually had come for argon 40, and argon 40 had 18 electrons, 18 protons and 22 neutrons. The concept of DIVYANK 22 comes from argon 40 itself. That is a phenomenal thing. Then how it during creation it got converted into light. TAMASO Ma JYOTIR. It was darkness as such in inert matter. When two inert matter fused together to form energy, there was light of neon 22, and that was the brilliance light which every universe has seen. And that is what Big Bang is talking about. And I say it is isomers of 21 which merged together to form isomers of 22. That means one electron, one more proton got added to this particular concept and became more light. But since there was a collision all the time, though it started manifesting outside and inside simultaneously, and how things settled through 10 stages from energy, Akash Bhuta, to breathing slowly over a period is another something which is amazing. I have explained. But here I am giving an idea how it has happened. Now comes the question of this particular four stage of consciousness, and I make it. Aditya is hydrogen, Aditi is helium 4, Gayatri is neon 21, Adi Prashakti is 40. These are the four elements which stand out in my consciousness. When I see the light outside, it is Aditya, the sun, which is hydrogen, which is the most common element in the universe. The second most element is helium 4, Aditi, second only up to hydrogen, and leave it at that. Then Gayatri and Par go on its own part very clearly. Let's not go into detail. Now same concept is there in periodic table as I told you. The most beautiful thing in this periodic table, there are only 7 periods but 18 groups you can see very clearly. You have 1 hydrogen, 2 helium, then you have 10, then you have 18, then you have 36, then you have 54. These are the divine things: hydrogen, helium, neon, argon, krypton and xenon, which are important dark matters, Atma, and then they lead to light. Now I have made another statement. As the size, orbital size of hydrogen is larger than helium, as with the picture down, you can see left to right it moves, size reduces, but up down it increases. I think that was another beautiful description by modern nuclear scientists to give me the wisdom that I can understand ancient Indian wisdom even better. And then one thing which neurochemists, the chemists of the world, the thing have told me, cations of sodium, potassium, calcium and anions of fluoride, chloride, bromide and iodine are the one which function like divine consciousness, antaratma, or inert matter alone. I think that was an amazing thing for me to experience, that I could experience sodium within my body, potassium within my body, calcium within my body, sodium fluoride, sodium chloride and potassium chloride and calcium chloride, etc., etc., including iodine. And this function I could experience within the body. My body could experience how enlightening were those experiences, why these elements became very important for me to know the wisdom in the entire nervous system. For that matter, progression of energy through the spinal cord is a movement of sodium only, and inside the cell it's the potassium. Then sodium potassium ATP thing is something, and same thing in calcium, and same thing that, as I think that modern science helped me to comprehend spirituality better. So then I would say science and spirituality, impeccable wisdom, when together we get perfection. Otherwise there is a difficulty, because they don't speak of the language. Let's not talk of all the scientists, not talk of the spiritual people. I am talking only thing where there is consistency, uniform. Like last also, truth also, I spoke of something which is universally accepted. Here also something which is universally accepted, only the one which are perfect without any question at all. Now that I am going to explain how sodium fluoride compound is used for prevention of dental caries. Again, sodium atom has got 11 electrons, but sodium cation has got 10 electrons. That is like a neon. Fluoride has got 9, but fluoride ion has 10. So 10 and 20, you are very close to neon. So they have the movement partially of seeing that within you, and that sodium and fluoride together become enlightening thing. And unless and you experience, you will find it difficult to accept. But I have experienced it. I know. I use it. It was very enlightening experience. Second thing comes the sodium chloride as 11 to 10, and chloride is 17, which becomes 18, because get sodium 1 passes on to chloride. As you can see the picture, 1 of sodium is coming to chloride and then becoming a good combination sodium chloride, but it is the water which is put together to become in ionic stage. That is again something which water fluid comes to play a role. Without water, sodium chloride has no action. But when sodium chloride in water moves, and that ionic form only, it becomes enlightening, not otherwise. That a whole absorption is as an ionic form, not anything. And that's what I say, ionic form of Akash, Schumann resonance field, is 7.83, and I am able to produce 8, is same thing in ionosphere, ionic form only. I think this is again, science has helped me to understand spirituality better. Then comes to sodium chloride. Sodium is internal, whereas sodium is outside, potassium is inside. Potassium 19 becomes 18, chloride 17 to 18. That is second combination inside the nervous system, inside the cells. And that also helps extracellular provision is sodium chloride, and intracellular fluid combination is potassium chloride. I think that makes things even more important. And if you're looking at Nernst equation, you have a symbol, a log of 61 is used, and I know it's not 61 which is right, it should be 61.8034, will be perfect equilibrium potential of the light which you are talking about. And the light which I've seen is with 61.8034, and here also the same story you can see. Now come to the question. Another very enlightening thing which I have experienced within my life is sodium iodine compound, and I do know very well there is a story of Neelkant given in Smudar Sagar Manthan or Smundar Manthan or churning of ocean. The blue black vapors which came up, we started killing everybody, and then everybody requested Lord Shiva to drink it, and when he drank, everybody sang. And it is seen as a mythology story. Nobody has understood in spirituality at all. It's a mythology way. But I do know it is not a mythology, it's a pure science. What is in blue black vapors is iodine, and same iodine can be used as an antimicrobial. Even today surgeons are using it. Same iodine is taken up with the thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormone and then go on. So it is not a mythology, it's a pure science, the highest. When say iodine is a 53rd atom, but when ionic form, it becomes 54, like a neon, and it does enlightening your work. And I think that was a phenomenal experience within me. As a result, I could experience this beautifully in the college itself, and I continue to do that to show how enlightening is tamas to jyotir within you, how the chemistry can be very enlightening. And I think that is something which very clear in this particular thing. Now, in this particular picture, I have also shown how thyroid hormone is a thermogenic, not calorigenic, not BMR, not diabetogenic. It can produces heat from burning of proteins and triglyceride to enter, because more energy is required by Lord Shiva when he is in Kailash, in a cold place. Similarly, I do know Shiv Bhushan Sharma also has experience. If you have a perfect thyroid hormone, you see the light within and you see the light outside. You are in tune with cold temperature as a hot temperature not. Whereas hypothermic people, thyroid content being low, thyroid gland being, thyroid hormone being low, you have intolerance to cold. When you have too much of thyroid hormone, you have intolerance to heat. Hypo and hyper is very clear. So whereas if you are normal, you are comfortable during winter as well as summer, you don't have a much of time because you are in tune with as the motion inside as a tamas and outside as jyoti, and you are more comfortable. I don't need air conditioner in summer, nor do I need a warmer during winter. And that is what this particular thing taught me, ki how beautiful is the science of sodium iodide compound can make you in tune with atmosphere from tamas to jyotir by and large. I think that was a phenomenon. Now all that is there in this particular picture, my experience, I don't think there is a need for me to go beyond. I think I have shown in the Aditi is Antaratma, Kundalini. This is a real guide of yours, and it can give you the knowledge which I have spoken about in Aditi. Then same thing, Asdoma Satyami is the truth which I try to bring together at the west or east or this and that. There is uniformity of independence, different schools which are not at all connected, but the uniformity I have shown in seven days, and also Dasartha and Rashis to prove this is same truth there. Here I am proving in the chemistry how darkness becomes light and lighting through chemistry itself. And tomorrow we are going to talk of something which is from death to immortality. And you are going to see something much more elaborating from these three statements of Maharishi Yajnavalkya itself. I think that is where science and spiritual together, when you bring the essence, only then you feel wise, and that is the impeccable wisdom which Akhand Vidyashri is talking about. I think enough for the day. Thank you very much.